If your home doesn't sell in Minneapolis, it's almost never because of the market. It's because buyers didn't agree with the strategy. And most sellers don't realize that until they've already lost leverage. Here's what I mean. Every week in the Minneapolis and St. Paul housing market, some homes will sell almost immediately, and others sit, often in the same neighborhood, sometimes even on the same street. The difference usually isn't luck, and it's rarely the market, it's positioning. Most established homeowners assume something like this: if homes are selling, ours will too. Buyers don't make decisions based on that logic. They make decisions based on alternatives. And in the Twin Cities housing market, alternatives determine whether your home sells quickly or quietly loses leverage. Over the years, helping homeowners across Minneapolis and St. Paul navigate this market, one pattern shows up again and again. Homes that sell quickly are positioned strategically before they ever hit the market. Homes that sit usually weren't. So, let's talk about why homes that don't sell in Minneapolis and what smart sellers do differently. When homes sit in Minneapolis, it's rarely because they're wildly overpriced. It's because they're priced just high enough to create hesitation. And hesitation is deadly. Buyers in the Twin Cities are analytical. They compare recent sales, active competition, price per square foot, days on market, and reduction patterns. They're not evaluating your home in isolation. They're evaluating it against everything else available. And here's what many sellers underestimate. Buyers don't react to what feels fair. They react to what feels safe. If your home is even slightly outside perceived value, sometimes just 3 to 5%, buyers will pause. They wait. They monitor. They assume the price will adjust. And when buyers wait, you lose control of the negotiation. You don't lose when you price aggressively. You lose when you price optimistically. In the Minneapolis and St. Paul housing market, the first 7 to 14 days are critical. This is when your listing is brand new, every buyer alert goes out, agents bring their active clients, excitement is at its highest. If strong activity doesn't happen during that window, the market is speaking, and the market is rarely wrong. The mistake many homeowners make is saying, let's just give it more time. But time does not fix misalignment, it magnifies it. After 2 weeks, buyers start wondering what's wrong. Agents assume pricing resistance, offer strength declines, and leverage begins to shift away from the seller. In today's Minneapolis housing market, speed signals value, delay signals doubt. Let me give you a real example of how this plays out. Recently, there were 2 homes in a Minneapolis neighborhood priced within about $20,000 of each other. Similar size, similar condition, same school area. One home was priced slightly ahead of the market. The other was priced slightly above the market. The first home had heavy showing traffic the first weekend. Multiple offers, sold quickly. The second home had showings, but hesitation. Buyers kept comparing it to the first one. 2 weeks later, the price was reduced. And by that point, buyers had already started wondering what was wrong. The difference wasn't the home. The difference was positioning. Move-up buyers and downsizers in the Twin Cities don't want major projects. They want clarity. They want predictability. When buyers walk through a home and notice deferred maintenance, aging mechanicals, heavy personalization, and outdated finishes, they don't just think this needs work. They mentally discount the property, often more than the repair cost, because uncertainty creates risk, and buyers price risk aggressively. Smart sellers don't necessarily renovate everything, but they remove friction before they launch. They reduce doubt. They make the decision easier, and easy decisions sell faster. This part is harder, especially for homeowners who have lived in their home for a long time. You've invested years, money, energy, memories. Buyers in Minneapolis and St. Paul are not paying for your history. They're comparing current alternatives. They're asking, if I spend this amount, what else can I buy? And right now in the Twin Cities housing market, alternatives exist. Inventory shifts, interest rates shift, buyer expectations shift. Smart sellers understand this. They don't chase last year's peak. They position for today's opportunity. So, what separates homes that sell quickly from homes that sit? Smart sellers price slightly ahead of the market. They remove friction before launching. They create strong early momentum. They watch early feedback closely and adjust quickly if necessary. They don't defend price, they defend positioning. If you're an established homeowner in Minneapolis or St. Paul and you're thinking about selling in the next 6 to 12 months, the most important decisions actually happen before the home hits the market, not after. Before. Before photos, before showings, before buyers form opinions. Because once a listing launches, the market gives immediate feedback, and not all feedback is reversible. If you'd like a clear look at where your home fits in today's Minneapolis or St. Paul housing market, reach out. I'm happy to walk you through what buyers are doing right now, what homes like yours are competing against, and how to position your home to generate strong, early offers. No pressure, just clarity. Because the sellers who win in this market don't react to the market, they prepare for it.